How we doing, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick, End Time Watchman. I want to thank you all for the likes, comments, sharing, subscribing. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the support. I have something really interesting for you. I thought it was kind of neat. I'll throw this out there real quick that on Discord before I went to bed, I worked all night, got home, stayed up for an hour or two, spent some time with the wifey, and then I kind of posted in Discord and said, kind of randomly, without throwing anything out there, why I was looking at these dates. I said, I'm really looking at May 25th, and I want to say the other date was early June. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back in Discord and look, but I know May 25th was definitely one of the days. And all of a sudden, I wake up after, a few hours of sleep, and Repo Man had posted that timeline from his live last night in my Discord, but I think he was already working on that before I was looking at May 25th. And remember, May 25th was like the midpoint where it had 5.5 days on either side, kind of like 11/11 thing. So I thought that was really neat that we were kind of looking at the same date without even talking to each other about it. So I thought that was interesting. I like when stuff like that happens because I think that's just the Holy Spirit guiding us, and we're on the same wavelength. But I have a little different date for you. Don't worry, it's not like way out there. I know people start freaking out. Don't worry, it's not. It's like about a week after that, all right? And I want to show you why I'm looking at it. And I think once you see this, you're going to say, okay, now I definitely see why he's looking at this date. I think this is going to be really encouraging to you guys. I know it definitely got me excited. So let's get into it. Let's go to screenshots. All right, where do we want to start? Let's go here. From June 5th, 1967, I'll explain why that date's important if you don't know, going out to June 5th of this year is 57 years. All right, 57-year anniversary of something. Well, what is it? Remember, they start their day at sundown. So June 4th at sundown, going into the 5th, is Jerusalem Day. That's the day during the Six-Day War in 1967 that Israel reunited Jerusalem, and that hadn't happened since it was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Okay, so this is the 57th year anniversary of that on June 4th going into the 5th. Now, why is that important? How can we connect this to the rapture? I want to show you this. All right, this is going to talk about Enoch now. The brief account of Enoch in Genesis 5 ends with the cryptic note that he was not, for God took him. This happens 57 years after Adam's death and 69 years before Noah's birth. All right, so it's connected to that 57, and it's connected to Enoch. All right, how else can we connect to 57? Going out from the last eclipse on April 8th, exactly 57 days later, you come to June 4th. It would be the evening of going into the 5th. It could be the 5th actually in Israel. That's a better way of saying it. It'll be the 4th here because they're 7 hours ahead. So there's that 57 again, going out from the eclipse to June 4th. Now, what else can we do? And I'm going to show you this in Stellarium, but I'm just going to read it to you and then we'll look at it. All right, so why does Venus disappear for 50 days? Okay, so obviously I'm going to show you that on June 4th, Venus disappears on that day for 50 days, and it transitions from the morning star after 50 days and becomes the evening star. Now we're going to get into some scripture after I read this. I hope that you already see where we're going with this, that Venus disappeared. Enoch disappeared at 57. We got 57 days from the eclipse. Jerusalem, this will be the 57th year anniversary. And I think you guys are really going to like what I'm showing you after this. Venus spends only half of its time, and I'll say this real quick, the synodic cycle of Venus is 584 days. Half of it is a morning star, half of it is the evening star, with a few days where it disappears. All right? And this is going to happen on June 4th, and I'll show you that. Venus spends only half of its time in the morning sky. It spends the other half in the evening sky, an average of about 9.5 months. well, that's kind of like the time of life, isn't it? Pretty close in each phase, but it's not in view for all of the time because it disappears in between being a morning star in an evening star, and then it disappears again from evening star, transitioning back into a morning star. So I hope you guys understand that. Now, why is a morning star important? This is Revelation 22:16. Jesus speaking to the church. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David. Now, who else is he? And I am the bright and morning star. All right? The bright and morning star. That is Venus, but that's going to end on June 4th, and I'm going to show you that. Now let's go here. Revelation 2:25. We'll read a few verses out of Revelation chapter 2. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. All right, he's speaking to the churches saying, hold fast until I come. I am coming. Hold fast. Now watch this. And he that overcometh, what overcometh the world, right? And keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. This isn't talking about the tribulation saints. This is the bride, and you'll see why right here. And he shall rule over them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received my Father. Remember, tribulation saints get palm branches. The bride gets the rod of iron. Oh, I got to take my blood pressure pill. I'll do that later. All right, Revelation 2:28. And I will give him, who's he going to give? The church, the bride. And I will give him the morning star. All right, so it's mentioned twice now in Revelation. Hope you guys are excited about this because I know I was. What is this? Oh, yeah, this is showing that on June 4th, and I'll show you in Stellarium, Venus will pass very close to the sun. Actually, it looks like it goes directly in the middle of it. In the sky, and its orbit carries it around the far side of the solar system from the Earth. Okay, now it talks about the synodic cycle. This occurs once in every synodic cycle of the planet, which is 584 days, and marks the end of Venus's apparition in the morning sky and its transition to become an evening object over the next few weeks. That's that 50 days that we just looked at. All right, so that was just a different way of looking at it. Venus will pass very close to the sun in the sky as its orbit carries it around the far side of the solar system from the Earth. I think this is basically the same thing. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go to Stellarium. Man, this is exciting. I'm not very good with Stellarium, but I know how to get to a date. There we go. And I always make it 3 p.m. That seems to be a good number when, or a good time when you're looking at stuff. Okay, so let's actually go down one day. Okay, so there's Venus. And I'm going to show you where this is. It's in the bull's horn, Taurus. And we're going to get to why the bull is very significant also to Israel. But it's also the morning star is speaking to the church, and I just showed you that. So it's speaking to both. And I believe it's because we might be raptured, and then what happens after we're raptured, God's focus goes back to Israel. So I think this is why he would do this, because this is showing us a sign for us, and it's a sign for Israel, if that makes sense. All right, so this is June 2nd at 3 p.m. So let's go to June 3rd. Let's see what happens to Venus. All right, so it's pretty much like I can't even find where it's at, but it's not quite all the way dead center. All right, remember it starts the evening of June 4th going into the 5th. Let me see if I can find it. It is definitely in here. It is literally so in the sun you can't even... Okay, see how it comes out of the sun on June 5th? Remember, it starts the evening on June 4th. So now it's transitioning. It disappeared on June 4th, and now it's going to transition those 50 days into the evening star. But right now, up until right here, it's dead center of the sun. It is now still, this is the last time it'll be a morning star for about close to 300 days. So I want you to see that. So I thought that was really neat. Do I want to exit? Yes, I do. All right, let's go back to the pictures. And then we'll wrap this up. There's Taurus, the bull. All right. And remember, it happened right there in between his horns, which I thought was kind of cool too. So let's go to why the bull's important. The bull is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And in the early Hebrew, it was right there. You can see it. It was the bull with the two horns. This is the Aleph. And I know I have it somewhere. Right here. Yes, Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Let's see. The first letter, and then obviously the Tav is the last letter, but you get the point that, and I actually have this. This is a better image. There you go. Is that not like Taurus right there? And this is happening on June 4th. Transitioning from the morning star into the evening star on that day. And Aleph means the first, or the beginning. That's how I would say it. It's the beginning. Well, I believe it'll be the beginning of us going home, and it'll be the beginning possibly of the events that lead up to Daniel's 70th week. I don't know if it'll start on that day. I believe Repo Man's right. I believe it would start in the fall. I believe that the nukes would probably fall shortly thereafter, and then that would create room for the Antichrist to rise to power, create the peace treaty, and then all hell is going to break loose after that. So I hope you guys thought that this was interesting. All the 57s, everything connected to Jerusalem, Israel connected to Enoch, the morning star connected to the church and Jesus Christ. This occurs in Aleph, which means the beginning, and then Venus disappears on June 4th, going into June 5th. So that is definitely a date that we need to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate all your support. God bless you guys. If you have prayers, put them in the comments. And if I don't see you, I'll see you in the clouds.